What is up, everyone? Welcome to this. Hey, this is a Mavcast, actually. I haven't done one of these in a while. And I kind of felt like it was warranted because the Dev Direct, and we got these great looks at Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and I wanted to kind of like dive deeper into the games, kind of talk a little bit more like piece by piece some of what the comments the devs said and like some stuff that we may have like missed or like questioned like what does this mean or exactly all that kind of stuff, man. So I want to go deeper into Fable, deeper into Forza Horizon 6, showcasing playground games. The Dev Direct will kind of go through that, and then also I want to kind of read into the Xbox wire posts for each game. I kind of want to start with Forza Horizon 6, but before we do it, thank you for joining the stream, either if you're live or end up watching this later. I appreciate each and every one of you for giving me your time. And if you do like the content here on Fun Speculation, hey, hit the like button, share it out, notification bell, sub to the channel. Greatly appreciate all of that. Again, support here is never expected, just always appreciated, and that includes likes and shares and all that kind of stuff as well. So you guys rock. Appreciate you, and I hope you guys liked the direct that Xbox had the other day. They had it on Thursday, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good because we got two games from Xbox, or sorry, three. I didn't feel like doing a deep dive on Kiln. Sorry. If you're a pottery fan, I apologize. However, didn't feel like doing a deep dive on Kiln. But yeah, we got three games from Xbox coming this year at the Dev Direct. Plus, we also got a look at Beast of Reincarnation, which actually rose up my anticipation list a little bit after seeing it. It's something I wasn't really like, oh my god, I can't wait for that game or anything like that. But, you know, and maybe been one that could have possibly even ignored a little bit, you know, but seeing it at the Dev Direct and seeing what kind of game it is, what they're doing with it, it made it a lot more interesting for me, and I'm a lot more intrigued, mainly because of the story and a lot of the mechanics that are in that game. So, especially like kind of slowing down the time mechanic, which Jasper actually had questions about that aspect, but that kind of like speaks to me because it kind of goes a little bit almost like turn-based, style. It's kind of like a hybrid where you can have time to make those decisions. So Beast of Reincarnation actually rose up my ranks of games I'm looking forward to play. Again, all these games are in Game Pass. They're all Xbox Anywhere also. So I'll be able to play all these on my ROG Xbox Ally, on my console, on my Series X, and on my PC as well. So hey, man, looking forward to all that. Void Rat says Killing is getting way too much hate, in my opinion. Yeah, there's no reason to hate on it. It's just not for me. I do like to kind of tease it a little bit because it's about shaping pots, and you know what I mean. So it's just kind of funny. About maybe a year ago or 2 years, I can't remember when there was rumblings about them actually making that Killing game. I had looked it up and found the gameplay presentation of it for their like prototypes and stuff, and I was teasing it a little bit then too, just putting the ghost music from Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore and stuff to it a little bit. But it's just teasing. I'm sure that it's going to be fun because it's Double Fine. They make great games, and Kate said she was actually looking forward to giving it a go. So I'm sure I'll play it with her and see if we can have some fun with it, and maybe it'll surprise me. There's been plenty of games that have surprised me, but it's just one that's just kind of like, I did feel like they spent a little too much time at the Dev Direct talking about that game comparatively to giving it the almost the same amount of time as the other games there. It's just more of a simple kind of party game, you know what I mean? But, who knows? It could explode. It could end up being this huge phenomenon. We've seen that with these kind of games before also. Um, RSJ fan says she thoroughly enjoyed the Direct. That's awesome. Drake Williams, what's up? Void Rat, yeah, what's up to you, Mr. Calorie? How's it going? Andrew Colonane, how are you doing? Psycho was here first. Shout out to you, Psycho, man. Hope you liked the direct also. Yeah, and the cool thing about this direct too, even though we're gonna deep dive Fable and Forza Horizon 6 on this stream, we still have Gears E Day. We still have Halo to look forward to as well. And who knows what else, man? I don't think they're necessarily done. I think they're gonna have maybe as many games as they did last year. So if we go and see at the Summer Game Showcase a couple more dates I get for 2026, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe something like Clockwork Revolution. Some people were saying maybe even State of Decay 3. I don't know, but it would be pretty awesome. A Game on Jesse, what's up? Says people love Fusion Frenzy, should like this one. Yeah, that's a little bit different style game. This one's more of like competitive as far as PvP. Fusion Frenzy was more so like a just typical party game where you're have different events that you compete in, kind of, right? And Fusion Frenzy was great. I agree with you 100%. Mr. Waffles says, "How's the weather down there?" We are not leaving our house. We can't. We can't. We couldn't even leave our house if we tried. Like, there is just pure ice outside. We didn't get snow here. We just got ice. We just got sleet and freezing rain. And it's not supposed to get above freezing until maybe afternoon on Tuesday. So we got like this coating of just pure ice everywhere. You can see it like semi-transparent, thick coating dusted with extra sleet on top. And then right now it's just some little snow flurries in the air and stuff like that. But yeah, we're basically iced in. It's cold as fuck outside. Wind chills are supposed to be in the negative, like -10 tonight. So yeah, that's the weather here. Now I understand though, it's not just Texas and Dallas area that's getting this stuff. It's like the whole eastern half of the United States, starting with the central to the east, and even other southern states like Tennessee and the Carolinas and stuff like that. So it's pretty damn crazy what's going on there with the weather right now. But yeah, the kids are out of school, all in Dallas Fort Worth on Monday, and I honestly don't know if they'll be going to school on Tuesday because I don't know what's going to happen with all this ice that's everywhere because it's not going anywhere. I don't understand what would change between Monday and Tuesday. You getting the snow right now, Dark Zone? Right on. Um, Jesse James Gunn says my only complaint this year: no first party games until May. That's 120 plus days. I mean, it's fine. I mean, like we had what Call of Duty was November, and yeah, until May. That's like a good six months or so. So yeah, you're probably around. Yeah, it's fine. It's gonna be so loaded in the second half. Yeah, maybe you could have something in the first half earlier, but it's not a huge deal. I don't think with how loaded they are this year. I do hope some of these games don't get pushed out. And to my surprise, like Forza Horizon 6 is actually sooner than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, it's sooner than I thought it was going to be. So I'm pleasantly surprised actually with the date. I know it was leaked ahead of time, but when I saw that, I was pleasantly surprised. Um, Mr. Calorie says kill not being on the Switch and Switch 2 is a miss. There seems to be a pretty big lack of quality games for Switch 2. It could do well there as a Splatoon alternative. Yeah, I actually compared it a little bit to Splatoon during the Dev Direct when we're talking about it afterwards, because talking about it, games like Splatoon have taken off. Kind of a competitive, you know, I guess different. It's not like a serious game. It's a competitive, silly game in a way. Um, let's see here. What else? Xbox 25th anniversary. Yeah. And it says, P.S. How and where is Pong? Yeah, I get this question a lot, guys. Get this question a lot, and Pong is doing good. He's just got a lot of shit going on right now. Real life first, you know. Um, he's going going through like actual like big things he has to do. So it's not that he doesn't isn't interested or doesn't care or anything like that. It's just the motherfucker's busy. He's busy as shit right now, and he just needed to take some time to prioritize all the stuff that he has to get done with real life stuff, and put a lot of this stuff on the back burner. But like he said, he'll be back. Don't know exactly when, but hopefully in the next few months we'll start seeing Pong show up a little bit more again, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we're still hitting each other up in the DMs and talk. He's still posting stuff on Twitter. You guys give him a follow on Twitter, and if you want to keep up with kind of some of his replies and stuff like that. But yeah, um, yeah, he's doing good, man. Actually, he's doing really good. Actually, his last post was his when we were talking last. Things are going really well, So, what are my thoughts on the $60 Forza upgrade price? I think that sucks. I We had gotten used to the whole 29.99 I think it was 29.99 or 39. I can't remember, but we had gotten used to that premium upgrade price, basically taking us from the $70 version of the game up to the $100 version of the game, right? But now they are doing $120 version of the game is 120. So $120 for the premium version, and so that now the premium upgrade is $50 or 60. Was it 60? Yeah, $60, which was is it $50 or $60? Anyway, I thought it was too much because it's like you're buying a full price game at that point. So I'll probably just end up just playing it on Game Pass without doing the premium upgrade this time. I wonder if that's going to actually help them or come back to bite them a lot because of the amount of Game Pass subscribers that do the premium upgrade. I wonder if there's more that will not do it. My hope is that the expansions that they're doing are actually bigger and that would warrant it. But I almost feel like we need to know that ahead of time. We need to know kind of what they are ahead of time to justify that high of a price tag. So anyway, 60 pounds or $60. Yeah. I feel like we need to know that ahead of time to make that decision because it's a lot of money. It's not like the $30 type price you're paying there. It's like the price of what games cost last generation. Full games, you know? Yo, BT Maverick says, hey, gonna have to come back later, but wanted to drop a like. Appreciate it, dude. It's Mr. Cali says 64 degrees in Arizona, but be safe. I don't miss the ice in DFW. Yes, it's becoming like a yearly thing at this fucking point. It's becoming a yearly thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. What's up, Brett Bingham? How's it going, dude? So the two DLCs are $30 now instead of 15. Yeah, I'm wondering like the DLCs, are they gonna be bigger? I don't know. Giving all the extra cars and all that shit. But man, there's so many fucking cars in Forza anyway. Like at that point, like I care a little bit less about the car packs and stuff that they're giving you, the free car they're giving you every house ever so often. At that point, I'm fine with the amount of cars that are already in the game. Like I still haven't finished. I put so many fucking hours into Forza Horizon 5, and I still don't have all the cars. I don't think even Fuzzy has all the cars. And he has a lot of fucking cars. Just go wait a couple months when it goes on sale and buy it. Yeah, the premium upgrade will always end up going on sale. So that's something that's true. And during the holidays sales or things like that, or maybe they'll do like a summer game fest sale, stuff like that. Like they'll probably have those discounted. Transformers DLC, that's Gundam. I mean, they teased what one of the expansions might be, like Gundam. So, but we don't really know what all that is. That could just be customization options. I don't know. So we'll see. But these are questions that we have, right? I wasn't happy with that, but besides that, that's an option you have. You can just still get the standard game. There's plenty of fucking content there for the standard game, so which I will be doing. But I want to get into this. Let's deep dive. Let's start with Forza because that's what we're talking about. We're gonna start playing this. We'll pause it occasionally, ask some questions, talk about some stuff, and then we'll go and see if any of our questions are answered in the Xbox Wire post. Yeah, prepping. Gundam.
Welcome to this world-first look at Forza Horizon 6. I'm Torben Ellert, Design Director for Forza Horizon, and I can't wait to show you what the teams at Playground Games and Turn 10 have been working on.
And I'm Don Arcetta, Art Director for Forza Horizon.
Okay, so real quick, some of the stuff that going back to all of our conversations on some of our podcasts when we're talking about Forza Horizon 6 and when Forza Horizon goes to Japan, because we've been talking about this shit for years, hoping that eventually we see this, right? Hopefully we eventually see Forza Horizon go to Japan. We had thought they might do it last time. They ended up going to Mexico. It ended up being an amazing game, best one they've ever made. And now we're getting Japan. So we always talked about what will they do if they go to Japan. And like one of the things that we always discuss is like they got to embrace the culture. You know, embrace that culture like all in. You know, they got to do like Tokyo. We got to see city lights, we got to see highway racing, we got to see all these things. That's what we hope for. Now, we didn't ever know if that's what we're going to get because that's nothing that Forza Horizon's ever really done. They're more of that countryside racing, right? Also, the other things we were hoping for is to see the cars represented, more tuner culture cars embraced. You know, a lot of those would be a lot of the Class B level, Class C level cars, you know what I mean? But those are some of my favorite to drive in Forzas, and you upgrade them, tinker with them, all that kind of stuff. But we want to see the culture kind of embraced fully. Wanted to see, you know, the cars, the tuning options, highways, Tokyo at night, all these other kind of things is kind of some of the stuff that we were hoping for to see. And we talked about that numerous times before this dev direct, and we said that we didn't know what we were going to get, and I think a lot of our questions were answered with this, but we still have some, so we'll get into it here. Initial impression first off was you automatically see cherry blossoms and you automatically see tuner cars, so those were.
And I'm Don Arcetta, Art Director for Forza Horizon.
As that aspect goes, drifting right off the bat.
The Horizon Festival.
We see nighttime. We got a GTR there. Car meet. It looks like
is a celebration of beautiful cars,
at
hit
night,
music, and breathtaking locations.
Also, I had noticed the more urban industrial type area.
The Horizon Festival is a celebration of beautiful.
Like I noticed this, which was more unique to this game as opposed to last games also. So super happy about that. What's up, Fuzz? I know Fuzzy was super happy to see everything we got to see for Forza.
Beautiful cars, hit music, and breathtaking locations around the world. And now we're taking you to the place we've wanted to visit for a very long time.
I was already getting chills over the cars.
We designed a campaign that really focuses on your journey. You don't start as a superstar of the festival or a racing champion or even a rookie. You'll start out as just a tourist in Japan.
So this kind of reminds me, going back to the roots of Forza Horizon a little bit. If I remember right, in the first Forza Horizon, that's kind of how they started as well. I could be wrong, but my memory tells me that with how the career is going to progress. And I think what they're trying to do is kind of streamline the progression a little bit, because it can be kind of chaotic in Forza Horizon once you start unlocking challenges and races, you just see these things just plastered fucking everywhere on the map, and it's really cool to see because there's so much stuff to do. But sometimes it can be like a little bit, oh my god, what do I do next, or so having this be like this grind level thing where you're starting, you have to unlock things as you go. I like that idea for this.
Your first goal is to join the Horizon Festival by completing the Horizon qualifiers. After that, you'll rise through the ranks, unlocking wristbands as you complete races in faster, more exciting cars. At the end of each round, you must prove you're ready to move up by completing spectacular events to unlock your next wristband.
So this would be like
these include classic
races.
Horizon showcases and our new Horizon Rush events, where you show off your skills on thrilling obstacle courses, like this one at the docks in Tokyo City. When you finally earn your gold wristband, you get access to Legend Island, an exclusive
Okay, so Legend Island, an exclusive region you can get after doing so much shit, right? I'm curious what all is going to be on Legend Island. You know what I mean? Like, is it just a little bit more areas to race, or is there some badass like estates you can get there, or houses that come with extra perks? What is Legend Island? You know what I mean? It sounds pretty cool though.
Region of the world with unique events, tracks, and areas to explore, and that will be a true accomplishment. Throughout that journey,
let's say some of the tracks, areas to explore. Let me see what else he says.
Region of the world with unique events, tracks, and areas to explore, and that will be a true accomplishment.
Events, tracks, and areas to explore.
Throughout that journey, all of Japan outside the Horizon Festival is yours to explore at your own pace. So, let's talk about the location we've all been waiting for.
Yes, sir.
Japan is the ideal location for our biggest, most exciting game yet. Full of beautiful landscapes and
Legend Island is for fuzzy only. Well, they just call it Fuzzy Island at that point.
Stunning contrast of rural and urban, modern and traditional. This is our largest map, full of verticality, diverse biomes.
Yeah, see, this is something else I wanted to see. I wanted to see mountain drifting.
Of rural and urban, modern and traditional. This is our largest map, full of verticality, diverse biomes, seasonality, and breathtaking driving experiences. Elevated.
Okay, so this shot, immediately, when I saw this, I was like, yes. Yes, fuck yes. Like, I haven't really had this experience in a Forza game, and I've wanted to combine the racing that Forza has, plus also the city elements. Does Japan drive on the wrong side of the road? What side of the road does I know the wheel, because the steering wheel's on the opposite side. So yeah, they drive on the opposite side of the road also. Yeah. Because like if you see like a car from Japan, like, or you're racing in Japanese cars that are like not Americanized or whatever, yeah, the steering wheel is opposite.
By Japan's unique car culture. So we knew from the start that we wanted to deliver the most compelling and authentic game possible. To help us create those experiences in-game, we sought out advice and insight from people who've lived with Japanese car culture their entire lives.
As someone who grew up in Los Angeles and Tokyo, both cities known for car culture, I developed a passion for cars early. I've also worked extensively supporting creative collaborations between Japanese and Western video.
This segment is like, let's put a Japanese person on the screen and talk about how we're actually doing the culture properly. So it's kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
game studios.
I get it.
Over the course of production, I had many conversations with the team about the nuances and the details of Japanese culture and how to reflect these in Forza Horizon 6. As an example, when we discussed naming options for the player home at Tokyo Docks, we discussed the building number, picking 7 and 8 because those two numbers are considered fortunate in Japan. In fact, these numbers are also part of a well-known Japanese proverb, nana korobi yaoki, which means never give up.
Do you think she's ever street raced in her life in Japan? Just curious. Like, you know, like it's funny, like you can say you're from a place, right? But doesn't necessarily mean you're an expert in the culture of a specific category. You know what I mean? It's like when I grew up, there was a lot of street races in Dallas, and I partook in going to those events and did all that stuff and went to different places and shows, all these things when I was a teenager, right? So I was a little versed in that era in the late 90s and early 2000 or to like 2000, 2001, you know. But like my dad, if you like put my dad in this video and expect him to understand car culture for like tuners and street racing in Dallas, he wouldn't have a clue. You know what I mean? So it's like, just because somebody's from somewhere doesn't mean they're necessarily expert on a specific category of something. That's why it's kind of like, but granted, she is on the Forza team, so I'm hoping, you know, that she is versed with the culture of racing in Japan. Otherwise, it just comes across as like, let's put a Japanese person on the screen to talk about this segment, right? But anyway.
When our team builds a Forza Horizon game, we focus on the essence of the place, what makes it special and unique. At the start of production, our team traveled to Japan to capture reference for everything. Time lapses of real Japanese skies, photogrammetry of trees and geology, scans of roads and buildings, and things.
The buildings where we're seeing Tokyo, I'm assuming this is Tokyo. I wish we could have, like, one thing I want to see is like them show that more. Like, I want to see them expand upon Tokyo more, other than just the quick glimpses. Just because I want to see how they say it's like 5 times bigger than anything else they made, but I want to see them driving through it like kind of extensively at some point. Now, this event wasn't probably the event for that, because they have to cover every fucking what the game is, everything about it. But I'm hoping before we get to launch time, we get to see a little bit more of what all Tokyo has to offer. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Of roads and buildings, and things as simple as water kick-up and the way fallen cherry blossoms respond to passing cars.
That's gonna be awesome.
From these references, right? We then work to capture the soul of those places, adapting it for Horizon's open-world gameplay. And since Japan is home to driving experiences unlike anywhere else, that process begins with the roads. Inspired by the C1 Loop, Ginkgo Avenue, and mountain passes, like Mount Haruna and Bandai Atsuma. Then we layer in the details around them, creating a world where every road leads to discovery.
Yeah, I know that. 5 times bigger than any specific area that they've created. So that's what I mean. I don't know how big that is. Now, granted, also, I think it was Jasper who had reminded me. Yeah, they did do like a city with the Fast and the Furious DLC for Forza Horizon 2. So is it 5 times bigger than that? Because it said anything, you know? 5 times bigger than the Lego expansion or the Hot Wheels. Because those are pretty big areas too.
For this game, we've built our biggest urban area yet.
Just that. I agree with
Our Tokyo city is 5 times larger than anything we've designed before.
So anything we've designed before. Okay, so they've designed the Hot Wheels area, right? They've designed the Lego areas, you know, like for the expansions. They did the Fast and the Furious city for that expansion as well. So like, they're talking about those? I mean, because anything they've designed before, what does that mean? That's very vague. Like, you could say Tokyo City is 5 times bigger than anything they've done. Well, they designed games, so it's like I don't understand exactly what that statement means. So this is where we gotta hopefully look for answers in the blog post. Yeah, I know you're saying it's too small on how big they say it is as of now, but I didn't hear them say Guanajuato. I heard them say 5 times bigger than anything they've designed before. Unless that's in the Xbox Wire post or in an interview or something. Yeah, I just want to see how big it is. Like, I need to... That's what I'm talking about. Like, I want to see, like, a deep dive into Tokyo itself a little bit. Like, have a video they put out there where they kind of show, hey, this is Tokyo. Or maybe they're keeping that close to their vest a little bit because they don't want to, like, if it isn't as big as people want, they don't want to disappoint people. I didn't expect it to be the whole full-blown out fucking city of Tokyo. Like, I mean, that'd be crazy, right? They still have to do all the rest of the game and the countryside racing, the mountains, and all that stuff. So I just hope it's big enough to make me feel like I am getting a good time going around the highways and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe fuzzy.
With multiple districts, each with a unique identity. We work to create a city where every road, every corner, and every shortcut is fun to drive and a delight to explore.
But I want to see it. Okay, something else that was missing here a little bit. We didn't get a shot of these areas in Tokyo at night. Like, they mention in the Xbox Wire post, so we'll talk about it a little bit, the lights and stuff. But that's something I really wanted to see. But I think they're saving stuff for something else. And I'll get into that after.
Seasonal change in Japan is dramatic, and these changes are widely celebrated in local culture. We've captured that in games so that you'll see those changes reflected in the world around you as you explore. That sense of exploration is at the heart of the game. Everything you find on your road trip in Japan is something for you to collect. Cars, houses, landmarks, mascots, and more, all tracked in your adventure journal.
Japan's car culture is one of the reasons we've been so excited for this location. And Forza Horizon 6 will feature more than 550 cars at launch. Those cars will have new body kits.
Yeah, I thought the Fast and Furious thing, that was DLC, I thought, though. Right? Like an update or DLC or something? It wasn't there at launch, I don't think. I don't remember. It's been too long.
New Forza Aero, and the ability to paint liveries on windows. We've also fully overhauled our roster to be better balanced across all performance classes, from D to our new top-end R-Class for track-focused cars. We've improved how each car is affected by the world. For example, with new cosmetic tyre wear, so each car responds authentically as you rack up the miles on those iconic Japanese roads. With more cars on day one than ever before, we've also created new ways to expand your car collection as you explore.
So it was a standalone? Okay. I thought it was an expansion. I thought, like, because I thought it was Forza Horizon 2 Fast and Furious. I just don't fucking remember. Okay, right on, Shizno. Got it.
Parked on driveways around the world, you'll encounter our new aftermarket cars. They're always bargains and include some extremely rare and unique cars to show off in your garage. We're not just bringing classic JDM to life, but also showcasing some of the newest, most exciting cars in the world. And Forza Horizon 6 cover car is one of them. The GR GT is a race-derived road car that combines motorsport performance with road-going excellence. And our game is the ideal place to experience the most modern iteration of Kazoo Racing's relentless pursuit of Japanese engineering perfection.
Our cars sound better than ever, with greater detail and remastered audio, all brought to life by new acoustic modeling technology, simulating the soundscape of the world. Music is a huge part of the Horizon Festival, and we're curating a diverse track list from around the world, including exciting Japanese artists, so you can choose your perfect soundtrack, whether racing, cruising, or drifting. And to complement the visual contrast of our map, we've captured extensive field recordings across all 4 seasons in Japan, creating a rich and truly authentic world for you to experience.
In Forza Horizon 6, you'll have new ways to shape that world with features that let you make a life for yourself in Japan. Our new customizable garages are the perfect place to do that. You'll find one of these at every player house, big enough for multiple cars, where you can freely decorate the entire space. And when you're done, you can invite your friends over to see what you've built.
Okay, so
in Forza Horizon 6, you'll have new ways to
something I want to get into here is a possibility of something. And this goes back to something like 3-bit like typed in our chat once, or said it. I can't remember what he said. Fuck. It's like he accidentally misspoke and we called him out, but I remember that it was almost like he was alluding to the fact about you're able to walk around. And I want to show you something here. And Kate had pointed out something also that I want to talk about. I think there's a reveal at some other point where they're kind of hiding some things and that could end up
shape that world with features that let you make a life for yourself in Japan. Our new customizable garages are the perfect place to do that. You'll find one of these at...
Okay, so take a look at this space.
To every player.
You notice this arcade machine back there? Maybe it's just an arcade machine as a decoration. But usually in games, when you see an arcade machine, it's something you can go up to and actually interact with. They're giving plenty of space, it looks like, to potentially be able to walk around your cars.
House, big enough for multiple cars, where you can freely decorate the entire...
And what's the point of decorating everything in your garage unless you can actually kind of check it out? Motorcycle back there as well, yeah.
Entire space, and when you're done, you can invite your friends over to see what you've built.
Okay, and that's another thing. Invite your friends over to see what you've built. Okay, so how can, if you invite your friends over, how are they going to see what you've built unless they can actually interact and walk around and shit? Yeah, Jesse, that's something that Kate noticed, and that's what I was going to get to later also. It's in the trailer that you can do car meets and show off your character. So there's these like little subtle hints that we haven't actually seen how it works, but it seems like potentially you are going to be able to, in the car meetups and in these spaces at least, potentially be able to walk around and check out other people's cars and that kind of stuff.
But the ultimate place to express your creativity is the estate. This mountain valley starts off completely empty and overgrown, but once you unlock it, you can build and decorate directly in the open world here, and anything you construct is permanent and visitable by your friends.
Permanent and visitable by your friends. But it looked like they were just parking all in the front, right?
Open world here.
So visible
and anything you construct is permanent and visitable by your friends.
Because they're parking in the garage, right? So are we going to build an estate we can like walk around in and decorate everything, and like that the buildings serve different purposes possibly? Who knows?
Our teams are fully committed to Forza Horizon being the open world driving game for everyone. We'll be carrying forward all of our accessibility features from previous games. We'll also be adding in new options like proximity radar for competitive players and auto drive for players who want to lean back and appreciate the world in motion.
That's PlayStation.
Our major new accessibility feature is customizable high contrast mode, making the open world of Japan visually accessible to everyone. No matter how you and your friends play, you can customize Forza Horizon 6 so you can play together.
Does NBA 2K have a My City? Yeah, I mean, like, you have, like, the huge, massive shared space where the whole city y'all walk around in and stuff, you know? And then you go and do online events and stuff. But I'm wondering, if they took some of the stuff of designing the characters of Fable to be able to make the characters better with this, you know?
Japan is world-renowned for its car meets, like Daikoku, and inspired by these experiences, Forza Horizon 6 will include new, open-world car meets. These are places where you can show off your cars and characters, download tunes and liveries, and even buy a copy of the cars you see. Then head out together to explore.
Like, I want to see the car in person, check it out, be like, I want that one. Not like a little picture of a car in the auction house or something. You know what I mean? I want to be able to, like, that's badass. I want that. You know what that brings me back to? Midnight Club Dub Edition, where the online felt like a big car meetup. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but it was, I mean, old game. But Midnight Club Dub Edition had this online that felt like everybody's showcasing off their cars to each other. And it was just fun as hell. But kind of reminds me of that, which is awesome.
Well, you'll find classic events like street races and our new Toge battles, iconic nighttime races down Japanese mountain passes. There's more to do in the open world than ever before, with new shared experiences like Horizon time attack circuits. These are seamlessly part of the open world, with no loads, no matchmaking, just a truly social experience with you, your friends, and the in-world leaderboard. Playing together is easier and more rewarding than ever. Forza fans are incredibly creative, making...
So, Shizno, the reason I care about that a little bit, I don't necessarily care how the characters look or what they're wearing. I do want to be able to walk around for the purpose of walking around to look at the cars and shit. Like, that's a part of car culture in and of itself, is just looking at the cars. And I'm not talking about, you know, the one car thing you can have in some games where it's like, hey, you can kind of go around this car. I'm talking about like, hey, there's like 5 cars lined up. We can walk around, check all these things out, open up the hoods, start them, see each other's, like, that's the kind of shit that's like awesome to me. You know what I mean? Oh, what's that tuning setup you have there? And like, they got to represent the characters somehow, because they're just gonna have a bunch of floating cameras. So yeah, I'm talking about the community aspect of it, not just drone or photo mode. I'm talking about the community aspect of it, multiplayer, online, everybody together, where we're all going around looking at each other's cars, talking about cars and stuff. Like, it helps to have a representation of the other people that are there, so you can actually see them as well. It adds to the whole thing. But like, yeah, I want to take photos of my car, but I want to go around and actually walk around the space of the cars. You know what I mean? Like it just adds to it for me, you know. But if it doesn't have it, it's fine. I think it would be cool.
Everything from liveries to race events and scenic locations to explore. To support your creativity, we've added the ability to start building from anywhere, as well as loads of other player-requested improvements, all of which are also available in the estate and the customizable garage. We also know you love to collaborate, so in Forza Horizon 6, we're making building fully multiplayer. In Horizon Collab, you and your friends can build anything you can imagine together.
From everyone here at Playground Games and Turn 10 Studios, we hope you've enjoyed this first look.
Different kinds of players. Like some players like just want to only race, right? Like I love, one of my favorite things to do is buy a car, customize it, you know, put a skin on it, and then go check it out and drive it around, right? Now, then I end up collecting, like, okay, I have this suite of my favorite cars, not only to drive, but also that look the best. And having a places to show those off and represent it that way is really cool. So,
at some of the new features we've been working on, and that you're as excited as we are for the game. We'll be launching on Xbox and PC on the 19th of May. If you're a Forza fan on PlayStation, we'll be welcoming you to Japan later this year when our PlayStation version is ready. For now, though, stay tuned for more updates about the game over the coming months. And thanks for joining us. We can't wait to see you in Forza Horizon 6 as we discover Japan together.
This look, man. I just want to see the Tokyo night lights. There's some, you know, on the left, but I want to see these lights in the background. You see that bullet train going next to him. Yeah, I was floored by what we saw. I love what we saw. There's things that we didn't get to see that I want to see down the road. I want to see more of that culture stuff. You know, I want to see some of the like events, if they do kind of embrace some of that like nightlife stuff. Like I want to see that nighttime neon of the city. And I think one shot of that would have been really cool in this, but they didn't give it to us for some reason. And that's fine. But I do want to see overall just like some other aspects. I want to see one of these car meetups. Like I want to see not just like a 3-second clip of a car going through the park, but I kind of want to see how it all works out. You know, I want to see how they implement it, like what you can do. And I think later on at some point, we're going to have other either trailers, or videos, explanations, interviews, maybe another deep dive at some point that go into some of these other features where they talk about them and we get to see them more. So that's really cool. And then we got the big Gundam shot at the end here. Yeah, maybe. I doubt it, though. I don't know if they're going to have any American World War II planes flying over Japan. Brett. It says, I have to wonder if we'll get any races versus old school World War II planes. I miss racing the P-51 Mustang and the OG Forza Horizon. Probably not going to see any American or, Western airplanes and stuff in a Japanese game. World War II era, especially. Alright, so we got Beats of Reincarnation. Like I said, we're gonna do Forza Horizon 6 and Fable. So first up, before we do Fable, though, I do want to go to this Xbox Wire post, see what they say, see if they give us some of the other little snippets or tidbits. What was the robot at the end for? That my guess it's the hint at the first expansion, or there's a special race. You know how kind of like they had the Halo races before and stuff like that. Like either it's a special event or a showcase event, or it's a hint at the first expansion. But it was Gundam. That was definitely Gundam. Yeah, I'm excited for it too, Shizno, after seeing it at the Dev Direct. All right, Forza Horizon 6. More details on the country, the culture, and the cars of Playground Games Japan. It arrives later this year, and today's Developer Direct took us to Playground Games for an in-depth look at how this game has been brought to life. Well, of course, I had to know even more, so I sat down with design director Torben Ellert to learn about this gorgeous recreation of Japan, all of the brand new additions coming with this mainline installment, and exactly how Forza Horizon 6 aims to grant players the ultimate freedom of exploration. I'm going to actually... Can I make this bigger for y'all? There you go. A little bit. So you start Forza Horizon 6, like it said before, is not as a professional driver, but as a tourist. One day, with a dream to one day attend the Forza Horizon Festival in Japan. Horizon 6 almost feels like a fresh start and one designed to appeal not just to car enthusiasts, but anyone with a big goal. Yeah, I like the grind aspect. Ultimately, I think it really boils down to the fact that so many of us love the idea of going to a place that you don't know, a place that you're eager to discover. You have this motivation to go to Japan with the Horizon Festival, but you're only attending as a fan with a dream to take part in it. That felt like a great way to frame up that big open door experience and explore the question of what would it take for you to drop everything to fly to the other side of the world to pursue your dream. Somehow it felt right for this in this game to just put you on the ground like you just got off the plane. You've got a couple of friends that share your dream and know that your surroundings. It's a notional projection of yourself in the game and the thrill of arriving in a new place full of opportunities. The country. Forza Horizon 6 takes us to a new destination, beautiful mountains and urban spaces of Japan. Most impressive destination yet, breathtaking mountain vistas and passes, neon-soaked city plazas. See, this is what I get to see the neon, man. I want to see all that fucking neon. And brooding dockland strips, masterfully designed. However, the goal wasn't to accurately recreate Japan's roads and spaces mile for mile, but to capture the essence of the place in a smoother, condensed reality. Steel, what's up, bro? Says supposedly it wasn't Gundam from enthusiasts talking about. Really? Could be a breakout game for Japan as well. More Xbox recognition for sure. Horizon 6, biggest racer globally, potentially. So if it wasn't Gundam, what was it? It looked like Gundam. I thought it was Gundam. Hold on. Let's look at the leg. Let's look at the leg. Okay. I got nothing. I don't know. Pacific Rim? Maybe? I don't know. Wait, this way up, it says. Like it says a little something on his ankle and it says this way up. Is I don't know if that helps. It's not Gundam? Brett Bingham says it was the OG Gundam model. You can tell by the design of his feet. Okay. I don't know. I'm not the expert on this, so. Let's see. It's easy to think of an autistic space. An authentic. It's easy to think of an authentic space as a recreation of a place, but it's less about that accuracy and more about the feel of it. If you think about driving in Tokyo, for example, what does that look like? What are the things that make it feel like this place? You'd see it in the distance from the freeways before passing through the suburbs. Then suddenly you're in downtown, surrounded by skyscrapers. Yeah. It's about looking at roads, references, thinking about what you see in each place and how it feels when you turn a corner. You don't recreate every corner, you create the experience of having something revealed when you. Yeah, no shit, they're not making the entire fucking country of Japan. Like, that's obviously. Filtered through the lens of being a Horizon game, which is a big open world with its consequence-free traversal, we had to find that balance between what it feels like to be there, but also the fun of a Horizon game where you can jump in a hypercar, absolutely spin it off a cliff, and earn points for doing that. Forza Horizon 6's sprawling, impressive map is separated into districts, instantly recognizable as soon as you approach. Suburbs are dotted on the outskirts of Tokyo, narrow, undulating streets with telephone wires sweeping overhead, connecting clusters of modest homes. Tokyo has, so they're talking about there's this center of Tokyo, and then it spreads out into the suburbs, and then it gets into more like modest areas and stuff like that. Also for Midnight Club Racing story mode. Yes, bro. That'd be sick. Shout out to you, Fuzz, for that. Love it. Mr. Waffle says that's not a Gundam. We used to put together model Gundams. I don't know, guys. If it's not a Gundam, tell me what it is. Is it maybe it's maybe Pong knows. Maybe it's one of his fucking what's the other robot shit that he collects? I'm a Transformers fan, and I also liked Voltron. That's my two things I'm kind of versed in. Power Rangers as well, for OG Power Rangers for first group. But when we're talking about giant mechs, Gundam and stuff, I don't know much about. And fuck, the ones that Pong has is like the super old ones, man. Maybe it's one of those things. Maybe it's one of those things. What are they? Fuck. Anyway. Okay, we got. Tokyo also has a docklands district and an industrial space piled with huge cranes and colossal freighters. Robotech, thank you. It was escaping me, bro. Is that a Robotech? I don't fucking know. And there's a delightful dichotomy between the looming brutalist architecture built for tiny, bubbly city cars to zip around in. There's also the iconic downtown area where you'll see Shibuya Crossing, Jinko Avenue, and Tokyo Tower, breathtaking landmarks bound together by dense urban streets, clever shortcuts and hidden paths, but all designed to support Horizon's typically fast gameplay. Yes. Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Well, it's Ginko. Jinko. Like, not the Jenkos that we think of. Or is it Ginkgo? I don't know. Your guess is Mech Warrior? Isn't that an Xbox IP? That didn't look like Mech Warrior, did it? Or is Mech Assault was Xbox? Wasn't it? Mech Assault? Yeah, I don't. Didn't look like it. So they talk about, again, like the city stuff. I'm hoping we get another look at it at some point. A combination of enormous verticality, glass, neon signs, adverts for all manners of things. With Tokyo, we've created this ultra high density space unlike anything we made before, which is 100% what I wanted. It's the most visually radically different space we've ever built for a Horizon game. Yeah, and I want to see that. We saw glimpses, but I didn't see the big night neon and all that kind of stuff, you know? All the lights. We see a shot here at night, which is awesome. I would have liked to see this with also all of the taller buildings and stuff, you know, during the trailers. Culture. You won't end up in Japan alone. 2 of your close friends are coming to experience this adventure with you. Jordy is a passionate motorsports enthusiast, while May is an experienced Japanese car builder, and it's her character that adds an insider's perspective to your journey through Japan. That insider perspective was mirrored in the real world by Playground Games cultural consultant Kyoko Yamashita. One thing that surfaced when our team traveled to Japan was how valuable it is to have someone there who knows the place, who can help you navigate some of the things that even a well-researched tourist might not know. It's one thing to understand it from your perspective, but that inside perspective is so important when recreating a space. The team knew it wanted to continue the established wristband progression system from previous Horizon games, where players rise through the ranks of the Horizon Festival to unlock better cars and higher caliber races. This time around, with this new setting, Playground Games wanted to introduce another way to progress, one that gives explorers a real goal to chew on, and one that felt intrinsically tied to Japanese culture. Enter the Collection Journal, a new feature inspired by Japan's rich stamp collecting history that lets players build a digital collection of mementos discovered throughout Japan. So basically, you build up your stamp book. There's a little bit like a GT. It's almost like the book they have in like GT7. You know, you have like the coffee house or whatever you're at, and you have that book, and you put the little stamps in it for beating the events, collecting the cars, or whatever. Or is it stamps you put in it, or just checklists? It's like a checklist thing. It kind of seems somewhat similar to that. Yo, what's up, Sea Lord or Bravos? The journal adds a new level of value to exploration, linking back to that player freedom, blah, blah, blah. Not just patrol heads, it's also a deeply customizable experience. You can take photos of murals, landmarks, and other notable spots and save them in your journal, adding a personal flair to your adventure. It's a visual representation of your journey. It's a collection of your own specific experiences. Now, here we go. Hopefully we get some answers on the estate. Similar to previous Horizon games, there are 8 player houses that you can unlock throughout Japan, which serve as fast travel points, a customization space, and all come with garages where you'll be able to fully decorate the space and display several vehicles per home. One notable addition to Horizon 6, however, is the estate, a much larger piece of land that you can acquire and build pretty much whatever you'd like on. The space is yours to expand however you wish, and it's also deeply inspired by that same attention to Japanese culture. The estate is grounded in an idea in Japan called akiya, which is basically an abandoned piece of property in rural Japan. These homes are often passed down through families, and as the cost of demolishing the building is often more than just leaving it, these buildings can sit and fall into disrepair. The estate is inspired by this. It's an old property that belonged to May's family, and as you've traveled to Japan together, she's asked you to help fix it up. Being responsible for an IKEA is really rooted in community. You take on the job of refurbishing somewhere that's useful and meaningful to the people around you. In practice, the estate is a flat area of land where you can build anything you want. A mountain hideaway, a personalized track for friends. See, a mountain hideaway. So what are you doing in the hideaway? You know what I mean? The only real constraint is that the items will cost in-game currency. When you build something, you pay a few credits to put it down, credits you earn in other activities across the game world, and you get the credits back if you delete something. It creates this sense of connection for us that you've worked to get these credits by taking part in something. Winning races, delivering tofu, exploring the world. There's all sorts of things you can do to generate in-game credits. The result is a little slice of Japan that isn't just built by you, but earned by you. So that I still have the question about the, like, in the estate, the buildings. What do you do with the buildings that you're making? Or can you go inside any of the garages? Can you actually, like, fully go around all the garages? Or is it just like, here's the cars in a line? You can't do much, right? I'm curious about that. What's up, Rick Payne, dude? Long time no see, bro. I hope you're doing well. Car meets. With the aim of authentically creating a racing experience that reflects informal gatherings as well as professionally organized events, Forza Horizon 6 introduces car meets, a feature also grounded in Japanese car culture. These meets are inspired by the Daikoku car meet, a world-renowned, mostly spontaneous meeting place and sacred ground for car enthusiasts. There are no official events, no entry requirements, and it's always open. There are 3 locations in game where permanent car meets take place. One is at the Horizon Festival, another is towards the Alps at the Okuibuki parking area, and the third is, of course, at Daikoku itself. Here, players can roll up, meet other real players, check out their cars, download custom paint jobs and designs, and even purchase their own version of a car they like. See, I like that. I like that. So you can roll up, meet other real players. See, like, okay, so if you look at this shot, right? You look at this shot. Now, are these just NPCs, these motherfuckers? Or are they actual people? Like, represented in the game, and they're walking around looking at the cars. You know what I mean? Who's this guy? And that guy? What are they doing there? Download custom paint jobs and designs and even purchase their own version of a car they like. It's a seamless social space that you can enter alone or with a party of friends in a neat way to really recreate that sense of community within Forza Horizon 6. Now the cars. Yeah, while Forza Horizon 6 is built to give players more freedom than ever before in how to progress, still here to serve absolute excellence when it comes to vehicle roster. 550 different cars at launch to collect. It's absolutely monstrous, bro. How much time will it take you to collect all 550 cars? It's a lot. Including the newly revealed Forza Horizon 6 cover cars, the 2025 GR GT prototype, and the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. The cover cars come to life beautifully in the Forza Horizon 6 key art. Also revealed at Dev Direct, the artwork was inspired by the idea of Japan as a land of contrast, urban, rural, modern, traditional. Elements that are reflected through the use of mixed media, paper, texture, and color, according to Ellert. The visual style was also heavily influenced by the traditional Japanese ink style paintings known as sumi-e. Forza team consulted with a master artist to ensure the spirit of this artistic style was captured and collaborated with Toyota to ensure the details on both the 2025 Land Cruiser and the brand new 2025 GR-GT prototype are fully representative of what players experience both in-game and in real life. 2025 GR-GT prototype is really special to us because it's our hero cover car, but it's also a car that you drive as part of what we call the initial experience. It's the first 10 minutes of the game where you get to drive the car almost as a prelude. You get to do some off-roading in the Alps, race the Shinkansen, and get a taste of what's to come. Then we take that all away and say, well, that's about the festival, and you're not in the festival. This brief experience with the 2025 GR-GT prototype is aspirational, almost like a dream, and it gives you that aspiration to go out and earn that car yourself because it really is an amazing thing. Okay, I can dig that. Fuzzy says you'll likely have 500 cars in 30 days. That's like 2.5 cars. Well, hold on. No, it's like 1 and how many? 1.5 cars a day. It's over 1.5 cars a day. I mean, 15 cars a day. I'm fucking horrible at math right now. 15 cars a day, bro. It's like 15 cars a day. Over. It's over 15 cars. It's like 16 cars a day. Maybe 17. 17 would be 510. 16 would be 480. So it's like 16.5 cars a day. It's a lot. 16.66 cars per day, I think is what it is. It's a lot. One final note that Torben does leave on is what the cars have grown to mean to everyone today. While illustrious supercars may be reserved for a minority, cars are a commonplace item in so many lives and rarely purchased without thought. Even by those that wouldn't consider themselves an enthusiast. Cars are often the most expensive things that many of us will own. They are the most engineered things that many of us will own. They're brash, they're loud, they're beautiful. They appear in fashion and fame, and they're associated with celebrity freedom and the ability to go wherever you want to go. And ultimately, that is what Horizon games are for me. They're about freedom, blah, 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 blah. blah. They're about community, beauty, Forza 6. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're about you, baby. Forza Horizon 6 is about giving people the ability to go where they want to go in beautiful machines. Okay. May 19th. Love it. We'll see more, hopefully, before launch. May 19th. You need a Datsun 240Z from the 70s, Fillmore? I'm sure they'll be there. Play Tokyo Extreme Racer. You can get one there also. I think it's still in this game. That was the boss in the past Tokyo Extreme Racer games. The first one. Speed King, man. That guy was a bitch. All right, let's see here. Let's move on to the next game. This one is my most anticipated game this generation, besides maybe anytime a Halo comes out. And I'm not talking about remakes of Halo, but any new Halo, and also like maybe GTA 6, just because it's such a big deal. But yeah, Fable, I've been looking forward to so much ever since Fable 3. I'm waiting for the next Fable. Finally getting it. Playground had a lot of questions to answer because they never made a game like this before. And they're also bringing back a classic franchise that's much beloved. So, but they're the studio to do it, I think. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, the music was right.
Welcome to Playground Games, where I'm thrilled to share our very first deep dive into a game we've been making here for a really, really long time. Fable.
Yeah, I wish it was going to Xbox too, Shizno. I had played it on Steam, but yeah, I am happy though that it is getting a console release, even if it's not coming to Xbox yet, just because I hope it does as well as possible so that we can get more put into it and more games, and hopefully we get more after that.
Playground Games is renowned for fun, immersive, and visually stunning open-world experiences.
I love that artwork.
Since 2010, we've been developing the Forza Horizon series right here in Royal Leamington Spa, a charming little town in the middle of England. As Horizon has grown, so have we.
I think
over the past few
Fable
years,
could
we've
be
built a
game of
new
the
team to
contender,
carry
so-
that reputation into a new genre that we are incredibly passionate about. Fable is Playground's first open-world action RPG, and we couldn't be more proud to be carrying on the work of the legendary Lionhead Studios, the original creators of the franchise. And although our game is a new beginning, I think
Glad
what
they
we're
mentioned
making is really
Lionhead.
faithful to the spirit of the classic Lionhead trilogy that we all love. At the heart of our game is a simple, recurring question. What does it mean to you to be a hero? Our game is about choices and their consequences. It's packed with action, drama.
See, when he started this, I was already like, okay, they get the assignment, because that is what Fable is like about. More so than just the combat or the story. It's about you and what you do in the game, your decisions you make. And when he was leading off with that, I was like, these guys do understand what Fable is. And that was because we haven't seen it before, really. We've just seen little snippets of just kind of like not understanding how these fit into the grander picture. But when he was saying these things, let me know that what we're about to see is probably going to be what I was hoping for.
British humour, moral dilemmas, and quite a few chickens. All of this combines in a fairy tale which could only be Fable.
In classic Fable fashion, you begin the game as a child, growing up in the sleepy rural village of Briar Hill. It's here that in a moment of extreme danger, your heroic powers first emerge, and we discover that you are Albion's first hero in a generation.
I love the town.
But
this little
not long
village.
afterwards, disaster strikes, and the people of your village, including your beloved grandma, are turned to stone by a mysterious stranger. Suddenly alone in the world, you'll set off on an adventure which will change Albion forever.
Venturing out into the world is a huge moment because this is Albion like you've never seen it before. Idyllic rolling hills,
And then
magical
this got me
forests,
thinking, like, just walking around
bustling
here,
villages,
open
sleepy
world,
hamlets,
like this handcrafted
oversized vegetable patches,
game. I'm gonna
and
stop
stunning
and take
vistas.
fucking pictures all the time.
And because our Albion is truly open world, for the first time, you'll be able to explore this rich and detailed world seamlessly, with the freedom to go where you want from early in the game.
We can't wait to welcome you back to Albion's iconic capital city, Bowerstone. Home to Fairfax Castle, the old clock tower, and the legendary Heroes Guild.
Love it.
It's a huge city, full of contrasts, rich and poor, nobles and commoners, royalty and criminals. You'll spend plenty of time here during the game as you discover the secrets of the Heroes Guild and its reclusive guildmaster, Humphrey the Golden.
In the north of Albion, you'll find mountains, craggy coastlines, spooky marshes,
I mean, this game
and the
is
bleak, windswept city
ooey,
of Bloodstone.
Ooey gooey atmosphere.
Here, you'll
Yeah,
meet
all
the
over
leaders of
place.
two rival gangs, vying for power, and uncover the secrets of the sinister but extremely well-organized Cult of Shadows. Our Albion is beautiful, handcrafted, and richly detailed.
In Albion, heroes are special, different. They're stronger than regular people. They're more skillful, more charismatic. More importantly, they're those rare humans who can harness and use magic in the world around them. They have the power to do what they want.
And so do you. In our game, we want you to play as the hero you want to be. And that starts with being able to choose how your hero character looks.
So, in Fable, you'll be able to pick from a range of different character heads and customize
This
your
was a
clothing,
question I
hair,
remember,
skin
like,
tone, tattoo.
Going back to the initial like reveal kind of the first time we saw a snippet of gameplay, and everybody's like, "Oh, that girl's ugly. I don't want to play as an ugly girl." All this bullshit like stuff people were talking about all the fucking time. And first off, I was like, when did you ever play Fable because you thought the character you were playing at was attractive? Like, I had never played a Fable game being like, oh my god, look at my hot fucking sexy character. Oh yeah, baby. That's what Fable's all about. No, never. That's never Fable's all about. So when everybody was bitching about the girl, at first like, oh look, she looks so bad. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? It's fucking Fable, right? Then I was like, this is just also probably a character using represented in the fucking trailer to give us an idea of like what you're doing. This doesn't necessarily mean that's who you're going to be playing as. It's like any game where they have like a creative character, they gotta show you somebody when they're showing shit. So it was like all that stuff was like, you guys are fucking like so ridiculous and stupid and always trying to just talk some shit for no reason. And like how I like certain games, yeah, fine. You say you like your characters to look better, whatever, you know. Like how fucking weird are you to like demand that your character in Fable be sexy? I mean, come on. Let's just be real. Anyway, let's move on.
And scars, so the hero you play represents you.
But as well as your appearance, you can be the hero you want to be through the way you play, through the skills and abilities you learn, and through the weapons you use.
Just like the classic trilogy, heroes in our game fight with a combination of strength, skill, and will. Seamlessly blending melee and ranged weapons with magical abilities gives us style-weaving combat, allowing you to show off your personal playstyle against single opponents and large groups of enemies alike.
I thought the combat overall
melee is at the heart of our close quarters combat.
Was like a huge pleasant surprise. Like seeing this, how engaging the combat looks, was something like Fable never had like the most like dynamic combat. It was like simple, you know, like 3-button combo type stuff, and then you know you had your like magic that you could like power up to different levels, you know, and then you could shoot a little bit with the bow. But they took this up a notch with like different kinds of enemies. Maybe you want to choose to fight them in different ways. They show the balance based on the size of this enemy, the speed, all these different elements are waiting here. It feels very dynamic and very fun. It's going to make your choice of playstyle feel different.
You'll use light and heavy combos, often knocking enemies off balance and executing stylish finishers.
Love it.
Swap to your ranged weapon to bypass enemy guard and deal with troublesome flying enemies. And of course, you'll be able to unleash your powerful spells to both manipulate and devastate your opponents.
We're excited to be bringing back some fan-favorite adversaries for you to fight.
Like I think if you go out there and marry 20
Hobbs are back,
women and have 100 kids,
as are Balverines, Hollowfolk, and Trolls.
I don't know.
And we're adding brand new enemies too, like this fearsome cockatrice, a giant fire-breathing chicken. Each enemy family is different, with their own weaknesses to exploit and defenses to overcome. But with all the unique tools in your combat toolbox, how you defeat your enemies is up to you.
But there's more to being a hero in Albion than fighting, so much more. When we talk to people about their favorite memories of the original games, so many of their stories were about the stuff you can do when you weren't just being a hero. The normal, everyday stuff which happened when you interacted with the people of Albion.
For me, what I remember most vividly are the inhabitants of Albion and the things you can do with them or to them.
The crazy thing about the classic Fable games was that in the middle of a sprawling RPG was almost a complete other game where you could just mess around with the villages and townsfolk.
And we've built that same experience in the middle of our game too. Buying a house, getting a job,
like this kind of stuff
making
I actually
some money.
Like chilling out doing, you know, oh, let's just make
romancing a villager, getting married, having kids.
Fancy a date?
Perfect. You can get to know me better.
Buying another house. Buying every house in Albion. buying every business in Albion, getting rich.
Marrying a bunch more people, having a bunch more kids, probably getting divorced along the way for good measure.
Psycho.
And this game within a game is unique to Fable. It's systemic, interconnected, and you see the ripple effects of the things you do everywhere you go.
And all of this revolves around the people who live in Albion, who we call the living population. There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique. Each of them has a name, a role, a daily routine, and their own personality. You could follow any one of them for a day and just watch them live their life.
They'll get up, go to work, spend some leisure time on hobbies, then go home to bed.
But what's even cooler is that you can talk to every single one of them in fully voiced conversations and interact with them in loads of different ways. Maybe the job they go to is working for you because you hired them to work in one of your businesses.
Hey, you. Working hard? How can I help you, boss?
Maybe the bed they sleep in is in a house you own because you're the landlord.
Or maybe their bed is on the street because you evicted them.
All right.
Oh, it's you. You're awful.
And all of the stuff you do affects what they think of you.
You're a legend.
Because everything you do builds your reputation.
Very impressive. Now that's an hero right there.
Morality has always been super important to Fable. That tension between good and evil underpinned all of the original games. And morality is central to our game too. But we have a slightly different take on it.
For us, morality isn't black and white. There are lots of grey areas. And importantly, morality is subjective. No two people see things exactly the same way. And that's how it works in our game too.
Everything you do earns you a reputation. And every person in Albion will have a different reaction to you as a result.
Hello there.
Yeah, we get it. You're rich.
They'll remember things you did directly to them, they'll love you or hate you for the choices you make, and they will always tell you why. Although, usually from a safe distance.
Our game will never judge you, but the people of Albion will. Loud.
So, like, as far as the, I see a lot of conversation about the appearance of your character not changing. So, yeah, that was something I was questioning, like, if that was going to happen too. That's, like, that's one thing I liked is, okay, if you do a lot of bad shit, your character could start growing horns, or you did a lot of good stuff, you could get, like a halo, right? Or you use a lot of magic, your character becomes more like, you get those like veins and goes bald, all this other kind of crazy stuff that they've had in the past. So that stuff isn't in this. So that's one thing that is missing that they've had before. But you know, granted, that was really cool. I would love to see it, but it's not the end of the world for me that that's not here, because they are doing the morality stuff differently because of what they're going into here. How it's more subjective and no two characters see things the same. Because beforehand, it was kind of like you became bad and it's like you walked through town and everybody just acted that way to you. You know, or you did good stuff and it was like, there was like a, hey, everything's good or everything's bad, right? So here's like every person will have their own opinion. So you're going to have different opinions based on your actions. So some people may see those as good things. Some people might see them as bad things. Kind of reflective of real world in some ways.
Imbecile.
Your reputation is created by the choices you make, and you are going to make a lot of them. Big choices, little choices, moral choices, and some choices that will actually change the landscape of Albion for the rest of your game. We call this idea, your choices change the world.
Yeah, you might be able to.
Let's give you an example.
Walking.
Early in the game, you'll meet a character named Dave, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who discovers a magical growth formula. He accidentally turns himself into a giant and becomes a big problem. It'll be your job to deal with him, and ultimately it will be your choice whether to kill him or to spare him. If you kill him, his giant corpse will lie on the farmland just outside of town for the rest of the game.
And that is going to affect house prices. It will also affect what a lot of the villagers think about you.
Over the course of the game, like, what is it going to look like a month later in game time? Right? The decay, like worms and all that shit, and the smell. I wonder if they get, like, something they didn't really talk about too much is what happens to the body as it lays there. Does it lay there and look pristine? Or does it start to become grotesque and, like, yeah. Interesting.
Especially those, sister. In Fable, the choices you make will define you. What does being a hero mean to you?
At Playground Games, we've built a pedigree for beautiful, immersive, open-world experiences. Yes, they've typically involved sports cars, but this is a passion project for all of us here. Every member of this team, which we've built from scratch, has two key things in common: a deep love for the franchise and a burning desire to bring it back. We're making this for Fable fans just like us, but also to introduce Fable to gamers who've never played the series before. It's been great to finally tell you a little about the game we're making. There'll be much more to share as we get closer to our launch. I'm excited to tell you today that Fable is coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation in autumn 2026.
Yeah.
From all of us here, thanks for watching.
Yeah, the walk you guys keep talking about the walk. The walk. There's notice different walks, but I think the one y'all were talking about was right here.
Who we call the living population. There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique. Each of them has a name, a role, a daily routine, and their own personality. You could follow any one of them for a day and just watch them live their life.
A little zesty, huh?
They'll get up, go to work, spend some leisure time on hobbies, then go home to bed.
But what's even cooler is that you can talk to every single one of them in fully voiced conversations and interact with them in.
So
think of you.
You're a legend.
Because everything you do builds your reputation.
Very impressive. Now that's an hero right there.
Morality has always been super important to Fable. That tension between good and evil.
Though, usually from a safe distance.
Our game will never judge you, but the people of Albion will, loudly.
Imbecile.
Your reputation is created by the choices you make, and you are going to make a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't care. It is funny though, right? Those are different walks, yeah.
Big choices, little choices, moral choices, and some choices that will actually change the landscape of Albion.
The living population. There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique. Each of them has a name, a role, a daily routine, and their own personality.
You look nice.
You could follow any one of them for a day and just watch them live their life.
Nice glide. Yeah, I think overall, the game looks fucking amazing. It has everything I really cared about. And, you know, yes, it would be nice to have a fucking dog. Yes, it would be nice if your character changed appearance. But overall, the heart and soul of what Fable is and all this stuff that you can do, the, like, buy every fucking business, buy every fucking house if you want to. You know, like, just go around and have people say random shit, interact with every single person there. They all have individual lives. Like, those are the things that made Fable special to me. And it's awesome to see them bring that in a big way. And, yeah, I'm pumped, man. I'm so fucking pumped. So let's see what they said on the Xbox Wire, if they gave us any other juicy tidbits. Maybe they talk about the glide. Let's get into it. Is this a full reboot of the entire series, or does it sit on the existing Fable timeline? We've always referred to this game as a new beginning, because one of the things we were convinced of was that we had to reboot the franchise. It's been a long time since the end of that original trilogy. Nearly 2 generations have passed in video game terms, and those original games are still available to play today, looking even better than they did back then, thanks to wizardry of backwards compatibility. So we've chosen not to be beholden to the timeline of the original games, the events, the characters, really just to allow ourselves the freedom to build our own Albion and tell our own new story within it, which I think is the right thing to do, myself, personally. You don't want them necessarily hamstrung. Like, if they are going to be the future parents of this franchise, basically, or the future caretakers of this franchise, the ones that are making these games, let them get started with what they want to make, right? And if something doesn't line up necessarily with what happened before in other Fable games, and that's okay, because it's going to be the Playground's vision, not Peter Molyneux's, not Lionhead's now. Although they're definitely stayed true to the heart and soul of what Fable was, which was the most important thing for me. There's a lot of faithfulness in the way we've approached this game, and certainly I think the inspiration of the original trilogy is really clear for everyone to see. But we wanted to make sure that this was a new beginning that would allow us to tell the stories that we wanted to tell. How are you balancing making a new game while honoring Lionhead's work? I think they kind of just already answered that. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to skip that because there's really nothing. So to answer your own question, what is the essence of a Fable game? Can we get into some fucking detail questions? Anyway, we came up with a bunch of things, the first of which I would say we actually inherited from Lionhead. We started working on this project. We got a treasure trove of documents from Lionhead that had been in storage. Something that I thought was just brilliantly succinct was one of the documents which said, Fable is fairy tale, not fantasy, which is just super neat. I guess our interpretation of what that means is that fairy tale and fantasy probably exist on opposite ends of a spectrum. I think we all know what fantasy is. It's The Witcher, it's Skyrim, it's Lord of the Rings, it's Game of Thrones, and I think tonally it's quite grand, it's sweeping, it's geopolitical, it's serious. You know, you can almost picture the color palette of fantasy. Lord of the Rings is probably the most iconic, you could think of when you're talking about that stuff, right? And then fairy tale exists right at the opposite end of that spectrum. Fairy tales are intimate. They're small stories about regular people. They're not grand and sweeping. They're very personal and whimsical. And ultimately, they deal with what happens when magic touches the lives of ordinary folks. And also, they have this kind of moral component to them. And I think that is a brilliant description of what Fable really is. It runs through our art style. It runs through our world building. We've really executed against that fairy tale idea in every part of the game that we're building. And then Fable has this other tonal pillar, if you like, which is Britishness. You can't mention Fable without mentioning that it's quintessentially British. It's cliche, but it's kind of true, and I don't think that's just because Albion is obviously medieval England through a lens, and it's not just because the cast have British accents. I think in the original games and in our game as well, there's a very British sensibility, a tone of voice, a way of thinking about things, and it goes to the humor as well. That British humor that the original games used to such great effect is an absolutely essential component of our game as well. And then it's about choice and consequence. We call that freedom, in the sense that it's the freedom to make the choices you want. It's the freedom to be the kind of hero you want to be. It's the freedom to go where you want and do what you want. And those things wrap up into what people really remember about the original Fable games. And therefore, it became imperative for us to include that ability to make choices. Our game is packed full of choices, but also to see the consequences of that and to live with the consequences of the choices you make. So for us at like DNA level, that's what Fable games are, including our own. Okay, a little bit of details here. How does the story begin? What's the quest you're following? In classic Fable fashion, you begin the game as a child. We absolutely love that. And that's when, and it's not a spoiler to say, your heroic powers emerge. You realize you're a hero, and everything changes for you from that point. This is not different than other Fable games. This is pretty in line with that. In fact, my daughter was playing Fable 2 yesterday, as I convinced her to. And starting out, yeah, that's kind of happens at the very beginning of the game when you're a kid. And that seems to be kind of par for course for Fable. And from there, we do a time jump, much like Fable 2. And we rejoin you in Briar Hill, your starter village. In adulthood, and for the rest of the game, you will play as a mature adult in their prime. And it's then that the real events of the game start to unfold. The inciting incident, the thing that's the catalyst for your story, is what happens to your grandma and to the village that you grew up in. Everyone in the village is turned to stone by a mysterious stranger. You're suddenly alone in this village and forced really to go out into the world, and your motivation is to try and figure out what happened to them and try and reverse it. The only clue you have is this mysterious stranger who you really only caught a glimpse of at the start of the game. Finding this stranger seems like the only thread you can pull, the only lead you can follow, so that's how we get you out into the world. And there's one last thing that your grandmother says to you. She mentions Bowerstone, the Heroes Guild, and how it's at the Heroes Guild that the great heroes live. And if you ever need help, they're the people to go to. So there's a soft implication that you should head for the Heroes Guild, and maybe there's help that they can give you. But the nature of our game is that as soon as you leave your village, you can go pretty much anywhere. It's truly open world, so the world is yours to explore. And we've written the story so that although there are stakes, your grandmother, your village, there's no ticking bomb. There's nothing forcing you along the path because we want to allow the player the permission to just go and do something else in the game. You could go to the most northerly village in Albion, get a job, settle down, and get married if you want. The story will wait for you, which I think is really important with the really rich side activities that Fable games come with. How does the open world work? Are you level gating or encouraging people to go to places in a certain order? Right from the start of the project, we've always felt it was important that the player can go wherever they want. From the moment you leave your village and venture out into Albion for the first time, even if we know the majority will do the sensible thing, you know, I gotta save my grandma, we know there are a bunch of players who are going to be like, okay, I'm going to go and see what this world is about. That's the Pong Souls of the world. He'll leave grandma in stone forever and just explore. We want to accommodate them, probably more than we want to accommodate them, probably more than accommodate them. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was reading that wrong. We want to accommodate them, probably more than accommodate them. We want to make sure that they have fun, exciting, immersive things to do wherever they choose to go in the world. So we took that as sort of North Star. And then we built progression and leveling and difficulty balancing around that. I don't want to go north and then find that there's an area I can't go into because I'm not a sufficient level. We'll talk more about leveling and progression at a future date, but you should know that being able to go into any one of the settlements of the world and have fun things to do there was imperative to us. And so we shaped our progression around that. Y'all are hoping for a 40 frames mode? I'm playing this shit on PC, so I'll be playing at 60 at least. I hope so. I'll change the settings down to I'm going to get fucking 60 frames out of this motherfucker. I'm hoping it's 60 on Series X. I'm hoping they have a 60 mode. But as we've known with many Xbox games at launch, for some reason they don't come out at launch. They end up updating them later. So we'll see. Hopefully it's at launch. How are you approaching combat? We're taking the original game's mix of melee, range, and magic, strength, skill, and will, and turning it into what we call style weaving combat. We wanted to create a combat system which was fluid enough to allow you to really frictionlessly, seamlessly swap from melee to range to magic without even a frame's delay on it. You should be able to strike with a sword and then hurl a fireball in a smooth movement, so that's what we've set out to achieve with combat. The combat scenarios that you're going to find in our game are often about groups of enemies and usually a tactical mix of enemies who will force you into choosing how you use your range, your melee, and your magic to crowd control, and to pick them off and really to navigate that particular combat challenge that a particular set of enemies presents to you. And there's still ample variety within those styles to allow you to pick the kind of fighter you want to be. You can opt for big damage spells, you can opt for tactical crowd control spells, you can go super precise or really blunt force with your melee weapons. It's up to you. You can still self-express when you're in combat in our game, but it's all about cycling through and tactically using the different options available to you. Yeah, I like that. That sounds fun. It sounds fun experimenting. Because I can imagine within that, there's going to be all these different combinations of styles you can have. It looks like there are emergent elements to combat. We see a Hob accidentally hit one of his own companions and enemy weak spots that can cause specific reactions that built into how you play. They say, very much so. All of our enemies have strengths and weaknesses, and part of the fun of combat is figuring out how to exploit them and using the different weapons and abilities you've equipped yourself with. And obviously that sort of compounds when you've got multiple enemies in the same encounter and you're trying to marshal all of them and find the best way to through it. The Hob that accidentally killed his pal in the video just happened by accident when we were capturing from the build. We thought we'd keep it in because it's funny and very much in keeping with that fan favorite enemy. But yeah, keeping in as much of that kind of friendly fire stuff as possible always adds a little bit of chaos and a lot of humor to combat. And that's, I guess, one of the questions we've asked ourselves a lot. If humor is important to Fable, how does it manifest in combat? An inherently serious pursuit. So I think those fairy tale creatures have a ton of personality and thus, a bunch of humor about them. And there's a slapstick element to some of them as well. You'd be surprised there's no performance mode on consoles. Yeah, we'll see. This game's going to be a monster. This game's going to be a monster. Absolutely be huge. So we'll see. How has the classic Fable morality system changed? To take it right back to the start, morality is always such an important part of the original trilogy. Even the box art was really about the dichotomy of good and evil, so we've talked about morality a great deal. I think that original trilogy is inextricably linked with the concept of good and evil, but I think morality in video games has moved on in the intervening period. How we think about morality in the world today has really informed how we wanted to represent it as a game system in this game. That's to say, there's no objective good, there's no objective evil, really. It's just about people's subjective opinions and what they choose to value in someone else when they make that judgment. So as you saw in Developer Direct, our version of morality isn't a sliding scale. We've chosen to anchor this around the actions you do, and specifically the things you do in Albion that are witnessed by at least one other person. So if things you do are seen by one or more people, you'll start to earn a reputation for that thing. Obviously, we always use the chicken kicking example because kicking chickens is a classic Fable. So if a person sees you kicking a chicken, you will start to get a reputation as a chicken chaser. And if enough people see you do it, or you do it a lot, that reputation will become one of the things you're known for in that settlement. And people will react to you based on what they think about that particular reputation. What if you really like to eat chicken? Like, what if they have food in the game? You just really walk around and like fucking just eat chicken all the time, or you fucking like just like eat fucking ham constantly. They start calling you like chicken muncher or ham hoggler. I don't know. I'm curious. Or they start calling you a tub of shit. Oh yeah. So the same applies for being generous or being a bigamist or being a thief and so on. There are a significant number of these reputations that you can get, or you have a word cloud of reputations in every settlement, and they can be different from place to place. It means you can create completely different identities in all these different settlements by being a different person and behaving. So you can go to one settlement, you can be a fucking dick to everybody, own the entire place, and just like, yeah, like, okay. So let's say you go into the settlement and somebody pisses you off when you walk in, right? Somebody just says a little snide comment or whatever. You can buy the whole fucking town. You can evict everybody. You can fire everybody after you make all the money. And then you can take all of your proceeds and go give it away as charity into another town where somebody compliments you. That'd be interesting to see. So okay, yeah, the word cloud is how people see you in that particular settlement, and therefore it defines how they react to you in every way they can react. And these peasants are not backwards and telling you what they think as you walk around. That ranges from catcalling you in the street, how likely they are to be romanced by you if you can marry them. It can even affect prices in shops. There's a whole systemic trickle-down effect of your reputations to your experience in that particular settlement. It's a more potential-filled system for you to go play with because you are juggling the things you do, and you're juggling who sees you do it. You're deciding whether you're okay with walking around the town with people thinking that you're that. Brett Bingham with the $2. Appreciate you, Brett. Jez says he's going to become a slumlord. Yeah, dude, you could. Jez would be a good slumlord, I think. Just hover over the peasants all around him and give them crumbs only if they do his bidding. He can raise everybody's rent like crazy and not fix their appliances. You can make sure that they have no fireplaces for the winter, no firewood. You can make sure that they have no ice delivered to them for their cold drinks. I don't know. Jess could do so many different things, man. He'd be good. Yeah. Could see it. What happens if you destroy? Okay, so all these people are living, have all this shit. Like, what if they need to eat to live, and you destroy all their food? I wonder how deep these mechanics go. And if you're not okay with being that, or people thinking that about you, then there are things you can go and do about that to redress the balance. You could just pay the town crier to start shouting about a new reputation to overwrite one of the old ones. So you can do propaganda. That's cool. Just put some shit out there into the world and just hope that people believe it, even if it's not true. Doesn't mimic reality at all. It's why we say our game will never judge you, but the people of Albion will. Sometimes people have said, well, that's the same thing. Surely, isn't it? But in a diegetic way? I don't know what that word is. It's really not. But because different people in Albion will have different perspectives on the things you've done, which, again, kind of mirrors the world. They'll become cannibals, Psycho? Wouldn't that be crazy if it went that deep and dark? The possibilities for these kind of mechanics and games are endless, depending on how far they're willing to go. The living population of NPCs is a fascinating addition. What does that offer the player? Living populations are a cast of over 1,000 NPCs, each with roles, personalities, and routines. The whole concept of persistent NPCs, each of whom is unique, is in a whole bunch of ways that you can go and interact with and mess about with, is incredibly complex. When you start working on it, you realize that every settlement has to have enough houses with enough beds for everyone in the settlement to go and sleep in at the end of the day. It was a fun day when we explained that particular requirement to our environment art team. Yeah. But they rose to the challenge like they do with everything. In games, you don't normally have to connect the dots quite so precisely. You're just building a nice looking town. But in Fable, it also has to be a functional town. And as an example, early in development, we couldn't work out why one town was so empty during the day, and we zoomed out into debug mode is because NPCs were getting up to go to work. But they lived too far away from their jobs, so they started walking to work, but didn't get there before their schedule told them to turn around to go back to bed. It's required a lot of working through, but it pays off because honestly, as you play the game, you get to know the names of the individual NPCs. You get to know what they look like, or get to know what they like, what they're looking for in a partner, where they live, where they work, all that kind of cool stuff. It's an extra dimension to traditional NPCs. Yeah, I do like that. Does the living population tie into the main quest? Tying the main quest and living population together in a really overt way didn't seem like the right way to go, so we've deliberately linked them in the lightest possible fashion. There are some times when characters in the main quest will reference your reputations or the things you've done previously, but we never want to force a player to have to go and interact with those things in order to progress the main quest. We know there are some players, we call them bards, who are just going to play through the main story. They're going to start at the start and they're going to get to the end, and that's going to be their experience. That'll probably be most reviewers. Be honest, like most game reviewers and critics, they're just going to speed play this and then probably stop halfway through and then write a review. Probably play it on easy. So they're going to start and they're going to get to the end, and that's going to be their experience. That's entirely fine. That's a totally respectable way to play. But there are some players who we call architects, who we know are going to go and mess around with the systems and just see where they can push them and see what they can achieve with it. And we want them to have the freedom to do that at any point as well. Brett Bingham says, can we allow child labor like we could in Fable 3? I don't know, bro. I mean, Fable's... it has some darkness to it, like, with some of the stuff. I mean, at the beginning of Fable 2, like, there's a guy propositioning your character's sister. Like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of dark shit. Like, and I don't remember all of it, but there's a lot. And so it's kind of cool that they go there in some of these things. I'm wondering how dark and stuff they're willing to go with this one. British humor is a big part of this game, and we've seen British comedians in the cast. Can you tell us more about the comedic side? British humor manifests in a lot of different ways throughout the game. I think the living population are really funny because they react to you in a very dry British way, and yes, it's in the story and the characters you'll meet along the way. We have an amazing cast in this game, and we'll talk more about the cast in the future. Again, that's in keeping with the original Fable games. If you go back and read their cast list, it's a who's who, and we felt, okay, that is a challenge for us. We need to go and do something similar. We've got a sensational cast of characters that you'll meet in the main story. Okay, so they'll have some surprise characters in there. Some surprise celebrities that are voicing some of these characters, probably. We are inspired by the incredibly rich variety of British comedies that have been around over the last 20 years, like Peep Show, The It Crowd, and so many others. We started with The Office, which again started out as quintessentially British, but also travels really, really well. Not just that IP, but a lot of the techniques and the devices that it's popularized, It's that really grounded, awkward style humor which really appeals to us. And the actors who have been in a lot of these shows, and indeed some of whom are in our game, they're known all over the world. The other cool thing about The Office is something we've kind of nicked. You've maybe seen in our trailers that we have sort of mockumentary interview style. I think a lot of people assume we just did that for those trailers, but it's actually a device we use throughout the game. I've never seen it in games before, but it allows you a way to really neatly tell a joke or drop a little bit of a character detail in a way that would feel really clunky in a dialogue, but suddenly feels entirely natural when you do it to camera. There's lots more we haven't seen here. Can you tease what else we might learn about before the game arrives? So one element we deliberately didn't touch on much in Developer Direct is the main story. Beyond the opening few quests, there's also the cast I mentioned, and there's a lot of choice and consequence that happens all the way through. But honestly, Developer Direct is more about us answering a bunch of questions we know people have of the game that we've been silent about for so long. This was an opportunity for the team who are making the game to talk about it and answer some of the questions we know fans have been asking. Character customization is one that we're delighted to clear up. That's something that we've been sitting on for years now, but it's great to be able to tell fans that, of course, we have character customization. In Fable, you can be the hero you want to be in every sense. As you heard in Dev Direct, we launched in the autumn, and before that, we'll be talking more about our cast, more about our story, and we can't wait to go deeper into gameplay aspects like combat progression, weapons exploration, the social and economic sims, and all that good stuff. We've got a lots more to share. All right. Well, that's Fable. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks fucking awesome, man. I really thought they hit the nail on the head with what Fable's about, which was the most important thing for me. They are bringing that whole like social aspect of the world around you to life to where you're going to affect it, and it's going to affect you too, maybe, you know what I mean, like, and make shape how you play and your decisions you make. So that's going to be really fun to experiment with and play. The combat looked great. There's a lot of people are just constantly just talking about frame rate, and there's no dog, and you can't change your character doesn't change their appearance based on your actions and stuff like that. And yeah, there's some things missing that would have been cool to see. The developer did admit, or the head did admit, that they were trying to get the dog companion in there, but he had to cut it just because they weren't going to be able to get the game out, and it was, just going to be too much for them to do. And the team is supposedly still mad at them for that decision. So I'm hoping maybe there's a possibility to get a dog as like add-on content later, or maybe for Fable 2. That would be a possibility. That's something that they really wanted to do, and they weren't able to get it done. So, but that happens in video games. That happens in games. It would be nice if maybe the whole appearance changing could happen as well, in another game in the future. But this is their start. And I got to say, based on their start for Fable, they built something that looks like just absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to play it. And if this really hits and takes off, this could be another franchise that we get to relive again and again with new games, new mechanics, new stories. And that's what I hope for Fable. That's what I want. I hope this is not just a one-off return. I hope it hits, and I hope that we get this franchise back in a big way. And I want Playground to be at least that two-team studio where they constantly have both of these franchises in the works. And that would be amazing for me. Calorie said, this is starting to feel like Halo Infinite or Starfield, where people are so focused on what the game isn't or what features are missing instead of enjoying the game as what it is. Yeah, I think it's interesting there. I think that ultimately, like, when people start seeing more and playing it, I don't think it's as big of a deal as like Starfield or Halo, because Halo has been a continuing thing for so long, and it's such a massive franchise that you're never going to please everybody with that. Starfield was the next big Todd Howard franchise, next big game from them. And I think that you're right. People were looking way too much at comparing it to other games and stuff because of that. I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal in Fable, because Fable's been gone for so long. And this is a whole new team. Is bringing back a franchise, a reboot. It's going to be a lot. things that are familiar to the old games, but it's also going to be all brand new. So I think with how they have that, some of these things that people are talking about now, calorie, it's gonna fade into, like, it's not gonna be a big thing. And instead, it's just gonna be maybe a request for the next game, or like, that'd be cool if they could do this. It'd be cool if they could do that. I don't think it's gonna be this big thing like, oh, this game sucks because it doesn't have this or that, or you know what I mean. I think most people are actually what I've seen more so, which I was pleasantly surprised about. Fable blowing up after this dev direct. Fable blew up social media, on social media all over the place, with people talking about how fucking amazing it looks. People talking about it could be Xbox's Game of the Year contender. It could be that game to actually compete with GTA for a Game of the Year type nomination, or be that rivalry game this year, as I heard Kind of Funny was talking about it a little bit. There, some of the big games media, but not only them, but like just in social media in general, there's been people just being like, wow, Fable looks fucking amazing. Yeah, you have some people out there that are just negative or picking apart certain things. This is a game that's not out yet. We'll be able to see how it all comes together when it finally launches. But overall, I think more so than anything, it's been pretty positive. So I'm super pumped, man. Fillmore Pocket says, Matt, 100%, yeah, on bringing Fable. I want Fable 2. I want this to continue. I want it to continue, you know? Death at Her Funeral was also a British movie until it was made in the U.S. Ironically, Peter Dinklage just played the same character in both versions. So really, Brett? I didn't know it was a British movie first. That's a pretty funny movie, though. Let's see. So thanks for doing it. Hey, no problem. Thanks for y'all being here. Appreciate you guys watching this Mavcast kind of deep dive into this. Share some more of my thoughts on everything with Forza Horizon 6 as well. I just fucking honestly can't wait. Not a long wait. I mean, it's 4 months, really, kind of almost 4 months. I can wait for that. It's not super long. We get to play Forza Horizon Japan. I can't wait to see more of some of the things I want to see. And then Fable just absolutely hit the nail on the head, I think. So, all right, everybody. Oh yeah, you said there's a blanket on the back of the horse. Maybe we can camp. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I need to check that out, Brett. Yeah, Calorie says at least Fable's launching day one on PS5, so hopefully won't get an Xbox tax on review. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, we'll see. You know, I did see a lot of PlayStation fans excited for the game, but they're also like still doing the whole like, oh, Xbox sucks now because all the games are going to PlayStation. It's like, fuck it, I'm not losing anything. I could play the games fucking on Game Pass, Xbox Anywhere, play on my PC, my Ally, my console, and I'm super fucking happy. You can play it on your PlayStation if you want. Sure, fine. I don't care. That's awesome. Enjoy it. I hope you do. It doesn't take anything away from me. This is like the same people who are like saying all that shit now are the same people that were like talking so much shit when these rumors started and stuff. Like, it's who fucking cares? Honestly, like, people who play your games where you want. So many great games and so many options. So it's like I've seen some of that conversation too, and it's just like, wow, these console warrior mentality shit still trying to fucking live on in a third party multi-platform world. Move on with your life. Play the games where you want, and don't stop caring where other people play them. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this stream. We'll be back for maybe some more streams this next couple days. I don't know, because we're going to be stuck here. And we'll be back for sure on Thursday for another FSP. And have a good one. Peace out. Take it easy. Bye-bye.